Time now for Sid SixZero. This is where I can say basically anything I want over 60 seconds. Here's what's on my mind this morning. Start the clock, please. George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis police 323 days ago. Nothing's changed in the U.S. Nothing. Even as Derek Chauvin stands trial, nothing in the United States has changed. Case in point. 16 kilometers from where that trial is taking place, another young black man was shot and killed Sunday afternoon. You can't make it up. Daunte Wright, 20 years old, was pulled over, routine traffic stop. While attempting to arrest him on an outstanding warrant, he was shot by a police officer who thought she was tasing him. He died, 20 years old. The entire point of last year's protests, the entire point of putting Derek Chauvin on trial, the entire point of putting that trial on CNN every day is to try and change the mentality in that country that this is acceptable. This isn't okay. But here's what I've learned over the last year. Doesn't matter how much media attention you give it. Doesn't matter how many protests take place. Doesn't matter who the president is. Nothing in the United States has changed. Nothing. Donnovan Bennett from Sportsnet, dear friend, has joined us on this morning. Donnovan, it's great to talk to you. Another night of protests in and around Minneapolis last night. We're not sure where this is going. 3 sports events, all 3 leagues, baseball, NHL, NBA, postponed games in the Minneapolis area yesterday. Your general thoughts on this are what? Technical difficulty with Donnovan Bennett. DJ, sorry, we can't hear you right now. We're going to get Donovan's take on this, I guarantee you, if not this segment, maybe a little later on in the show. I just want to emphasize again what happened from a sporting standpoint yesterday. Minnesota Twins were scheduled to play at home at 2 p.m. Eastern against the Boston Red Sox. When the mayor of Minneapolis issued a state of emergency, that game immediately was postponed. And the area around Target Field in Minnesota, there wasn't anything happening. But clearly, Major League Baseball felt the need to say, we're not doing this today. We're not sure what's going to happen tonight for obvious reasons. So we're going to postpone that. The NBA and the Minnesota Timberwolves, they had a game scheduled for the Minneapolis area last night. That was also postponed. Same for the National Hockey League. National Hockey League had a game scheduled with the Minnesota Wild. They decided to postpone that game as well. No word yet on when those games are going to be replayed. But again, the bigger issue here is what's happening in and around Minneapolis while the Derek Chauvin trial, incredibly, is going on simultaneously. In a million years, you could not have written a script where this trial is continuing. And unfortunately, we're not going to get Donnovan Bennett. We are going to get Donnovan. Donnovan, forgive me. The gremlins are in our system. Not the best timing. I apologize on behalf of everyone here. Go ahead, DJ. Your thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, a couple of things haven't changed. I'm not good at technology, so that's one. But the other thing that hasn't changed is if you're a black man or woman, you're considered a threat. Over the weekend, we saw a video emerge of Army Lieutenant Karan Nazario being roughed up and pepper sprayed because he was afraid to get out of his vehicle because he didn't want his scene to end like the many scenes that we've seen. And there's always an excuse. Tamir Rice has a toy gun. Eric Garner has loose cigarettes. Sandra Bland missed a turn signal. George Floyd had a counterfeit $20 bill. Now it's an air freshener. And so my fear is that no matter what the scenario, somehow there's always a reason why we find mothers crying because they lost a son. And I think to my time as a university student where, late at night, I would drive back roads because normally I would be stopped upwards of 20 times in my 4 years in college for no real reason, while other students were driving back roads because they were drinking and driving. So I feel like a criminal because of my blackness, and other people are actually doing criminal activities and exhibiting the same fearful behaviors. And so, Daunte Wright is the name that we're talking about now because it's trending, but unless you are going to do something between now and the next name, I don't want to see your black tile on Instagram. I don't want to hear your PR statement because Black people are an endangered species. We're hunted like we're in the wild. And the disease, in this case, racism, is something that we're not really actively looking for a cure for. And so hopefully the next time, as you see, Daunte Wright in a photo with his young son, hopefully the next time, the fear for me is that no longer will it be my name that trends. At some point, I'm going to be old and gray and not seen as a threat as a black man. But I'll still live with that fear because it could be my son. The next name could be Desmond Bennett. So today I'm distraught. Today I'm disgusted. But I'm not surprised because this is a fear that I live with every day.
And again, to the point that Donnovan made about the air freshener, after being shot, Daunte Wright called his mother and said he was stopped because air fresheners on his rearview window weren't placed properly. That happened. Donnovan, again, apologies for how it started, but we appreciate you at any point. Love you, man. Thank you.
Likewise.
All right, we're going to take a break here. You Sound Off coming up here on Breakfast Television. Again, the news yesterday, we are going virtual learning for elementary and secondary students in this province for a while. Is Ontario doing the right thing by closing schools after this April break? 1-866-267-3797. Feedback at breakfasttelevision.ca, at Breakfast TV on Twitter 24/7. It is 6:46. Good morning, Toronto. You're watching BT.